How we gonna get thicker like that, man? How you gonna say you want to be thicker, but you won't eat the grits? Hey, man, you want them thick, down south, cornbread fed, watermelon eating, fried chicken dipping, finger licking vocals? Well, you're gonna have to tap into these vocal thickening techniques. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Wavy Wayne from WavyWayne.com, and this channel is all about helping you to record and mix better and faster. WavyWayne.com has the tools you need to get started on that path. Today, I'm gonna drop y'all off some of these techniques, man, a vocal thickening technique. And I'm gonna give y'all a little disclaimer, man. Ain't nothing in this video you about to see new. Everything in this video, I done taught you in some way or shape before. But I'm going to show it to you in a different way with a different name, because apparently that's how y'all like to get it, man. If you want to make your vocals thick, I done told you time after time after time again. You need saturation and you need parallel processing. You need saturation and you need parallel processing. But there's a few other things that go into it. Let's jump off into my session and take a look at what we got. So first thing first, getting a thick vocal, you need to make sure you record a thick vocal. Now, listen to your microphone, right? Listen to what's coming out the microphone. If it sounds like it's thin, let's start to make some adjustments, right? We know one thing that we got is the proximity effect, right? The closer to the microphone, the more low end, the more body comes in. And that's what we even talking about when we talking about thickness. We talking about that low mid range. We talking about that chestiness. When something is thin, then it's lacking that chest. It's lacking that badonkadonk. And to get that, we got to get a little bit closer to the mic. Sometime we might need to choose a totally different mic. So the first thing is going to be listening to what you're capturing through your microphone and making sure that it's thick right there. Now, there's some stuff we can do in the mix to thicken it up even more, but we want to start off with that ooey gooey butter. All right? Now that we got that ooey gooey butter, one thing that I see a lot of y'all doing is y'all going in with the EQ and you going too crazy with the EQ. Stop going crazy with the EQ, especially because you listening to what you capturing at first and making sure you are capturing it at the source, how you want it to sound. And then you ain't got to do too much EQ. Most of the time, I don't even hardly even EQ for real, man. I'm using filters, a high pass filter and a low pass filter. Why? Because I make sure I record sounds that I like how it sounds. If it's a problem with the recording, I fix it before I hit record. So with that being said, if you're using these filters, stop cutting off so much of your low end. You want the vocals to be thick, but then you didn't high pass filtered it all the way up to 600 hertz. How we gonna get thicker like that, man? How you gonna say you want to be thicker, but you won't eat the grits? I'm trying to tell you. Now, if you want to get thick, you need to leave that low end alone on them vocals. You might need to cut some stuff and make room for that extra low end in the music. But if you want that vocal to be thick and heavy, quit cutting off so much of the low end. That's one of the first things. I'll say for thick vocals, I wouldn't cut off no more than up to about 100 hertz. Depending on the source, the signal, I'll roll off maybe somewhere up to about 100 hertz, okay? Now, how I'm going to control some of that low end since I'm leaving so much body there? Well, that's when I'm going to use my multi-band compression. I'm slapping that low end. You got to slap the back. Slap that low end. I'm leaning on that low mids, but not so much because we want to keep the thickness. It's all about that thickness. We don't want to attack the low mids. Look at the bands, okay? So this is my low band. I got my low mid band. I'm really killing the lows because that's super low frequencies, right? That's up to about that same 100 hertz that I was just telling y'all about, how I don't really want too much of that energy coming through anyway. That's a little too low. You know, if you can be a little too thick. And then, is it really thick? Okay, so we don't want too much of that low end, but we want a manageable amount. And then we want to control what we got. That means that thickness, we want it nice and toned up, right? So I'm using multiband compression to control the dynamics in my low mids. That way they can stay consistent and not be all floppity, right? We're going to be a lot tighter. We're going to be a lot consistent. That presence is going to stay right there, which is going to give us that feeling of thickness throughout the song. All right. And of course, we're going to top off with some compression. We're knocking off any extra high end frequencies, which might give us the illusion of some thinness happening to, really allow us to get our chest out there with our DeEsser. And of course, I got some more techniques, man. I got my Saturn, which is my saturation that I tell y'all about all the time. Saturation, saturation, saturation. If I want to get thicker, you see what I'm doing over here in my low mids? I'm driving it a little bit more, right? So I got more drive over there on my low mids, each section, okay? I can drive this as hard as I want to, maybe fatten that up a little bit. But that's by giving me more saturation in my low mid range. I'm going to increase the presence of my thickness. Let's listen to this track that I'm working on real quick. Shout out to my man Naps. I'm going to play this, and as I'm playing it, I'm going to add and remove some of these thickening agents and experiment it. Matter of fact, let's just start off with this EQ, right? So since a lot of y'all often roll off so much, we're going to start. Let's hear this.
I'm about to catch me a flight. I think that it's time that I get out of the city. My mama, she want me
too
back home
thin.
in Atlanta. My uncle told me don't forget my grandma. The family stronger together. Baby, y'all get it put on my body. My cousin like, fuck all that writing, let's get it. This pen, I get deep in my body. They're like, damn man, it's been a little minute.
Right? Then you see how I can easily make those vocals sound super thin and unnatural by rolling too much of that low end off. As soon as I back it off to a more natural setting, it feels better, okay? Now, we've been through multiband compression and all that. Let's listen to what the Saturn is doing here, though.
I'm about to catch me a flight. I think that it's time that I get out the city. My mama, she want me back home in Atlanta. My uncle told me don't forget my grandma.
Okay, you see how it helps that low mid-range to be a little bit more controlled. So when we're driving this in, it's kind of like it's compressing that section even more, which is bringing the presence up for us.
I'm about to catch me a flight. I think that it's time that I get out the city. My mama, she want me back home in Atlanta. My uncle told me don't forget my grandma. The family stronger together. Baby, y'all get it put on my body. My cousin like, fuck all that writing, let's get it. This pen, I get deep in my body. They're like, damn man, it's been a little minute. But man, let's be honest about it. Even if I don't drop, niggas know that I got it.
Man, another super dope technique that we can employ here is setting up parallel compression. To set up parallel compression, what I want to do is first just create a duplicate of this track, right? In some kind of way, I want to duplicate my signal so that I can have one version of my signal that is uncompressed or lightly compressed, right? This is my main version of the signal. It's lightly compressed. Another copy of the signal that I'm about to make is going to be super heavy duty compressed. I'm about to squash the hell out of it, probably even add more saturation to it and then bring some of that in. That's going to actually just like create a little thick little rock nugget right there in the pocket that I can sit those vocals right into. So this is how I'm going to set that up. I'm going to make a new mono auxiliary input track. And I'm making it mono because the vocal is mono. I'm going to name it parallel. Okay. Whatever, I know I need another L. And for this, let's go with a limiter, right? So I'm just gonna search for let's go with an L2, right? I'm gonna use this limiter. I'm gonna send off to my parallel track just by clicking on the send of my vocal track. Go to track, go to my parallel. Here's my send level. So I wanna send at full level. And I want this send to also be a pre-fader send. That means that the send level is going to be independent of the track's level. I mean, I'm getting full signal going over into my compressed copy for the whole duration of that signal, okay? So we're just going to back the output cylinder a little bit just so we don't clip. And let's mute the original vocal. And then I'm just going to listen and as I squash the copy.
It is time that I get out the city. My mama, she want me back home in Atlanta. My uncle told me don't forget my grandma. Stronger together. Baby, y'all get it put on.
What? Why won't let me? Okay.
I think that it's time that I get out the city. My mama, she want me back home in Atlanta.
Oh, for some reason, my parallel is going to the wrong track. That's why. Parallel. What my parallel? There we go.
I'm about to catch me a flight. I think that.
All right, so what we're hearing now is only the compressed signal.
I'm about to catch me a flight. I think that it's time that I get out the city. My mama, she want me back home.
All right, now I like how that's super compressed. Let's add some saturation. I'm gonna use lo-fi. One of my favorite saturation tools, and it's a free stock plugin. So let's start off with some distortion. This might get a little loud.
I'm about to catch me a flight. I think that it's time that I get out the city. My mama, she want me back home in Atlanta. My uncle told me don't forget my grandma. The family stronger together. Baby, y'all get it put on my body. My cousin like, fuck all that writing, let's get it. This pen I get deep in my body.
All right, so I kind of like how that sounds. Let's see how that blends in together. So I'm gonna unmute my dry vocal, you know, my main vocal that I'm working in, and I'm gonna slowly edge some of this fatness up in here.
I'm about to catch me a flight. I think that it's time that I get out the city. My mama, she want me back home in Atlanta. My uncle told me don't forget my grandma.
Just a little bit.
The family stronger together. Baby, y'all get it put on my body. My cousin like, fuck all that writing, let's get it. This pen I get deep in my body. They're like, damn man, it's been a little minute. But man, let's be honest about it. Even if I don't drop, niggas know that I got it.
Oh man, you know that sauce. You know that sauce, man. I got some even better sauce that I can't share with y'all, man. Some things I gotta keep for the Wavy Seals Elite. Make sure y'all tap in with me over there if you want to learn more about that and go really in depth on this fattening technique. The link to join the Wavy Seals Elite is in the description below. I'm Wavy Wayne from WavyWayne.com. If you found this video helpful, share it with a friend. Why don't you? And hit that subscribe button, man. Y'all go ahead and be dope.